We are live. Welcome to Social Surge with Fly and Mo. Going live on the gram. Click the button, Mo. Click.
I did.
It is Social Surge with Fly and Mo. I'm Mo Regalado. Happy Thursday. Over there is Miss Fly Jamerson. There she is. There she be. There she be.
It's a miracle.
Both of us scrambling this morning. Yeah, you told me my hair looks good. My herd looks good.
Your herd. It do.
Thank you. Thank you very much. I did it on purpose. All right. Wow, that was bad. That was like so harsh. Boop, 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 boop. Okay. So good morning to everybody joining us on the interwebs today on Social Surge. Are you looking at that space behind you?
Yeah, I'm just like, well, I know I have probably about 10 hats on my other desk. My standing desk is behind that desk. Good morning, Marcy Money Penny. And I have a lot of hats. I need to redo. Haven't figured out what to do here. You know.
Good morning at Regalado Real Estate.
Just gonna say that.
Yeah, you're gonna have to actually, you know what? You need to start rotating through the hats on the show.
Yeah. Well, and on the topic of hair, like I don't have one right here, but to put a hat on this hair, on this version of my unkempt Louisiana hair, it's just a little.
I love the fact that you use the word unkempt. That's like one of my favorite words to say.
Unkempt. Yeah. The three consonants right in a row. When we're doing, and I'm personally right now in my off hours, helping my child learn how to read. And so when we come across consonant sounds together like that, I'm like, man, you know what? You're right. That doesn't make a lot of sense. The English language, couldn't tell you.
You're like, okay, this is how we're gonna go with
this.
Some
things are, and some things are not. And there's logic to it, but no, it's just interesting. Anyway.
English language and we can go off on topic about that, but the English language in general is very confusing. And yeah, that's all I got to say about that. Other languages make sense, right? Like their words, their sentence structure, everything makes sense. And then here comes English and we're like, doesn't make sense, but we're going to do it that way anyway. So, all right. Today's topic of conversation is something that I actually wrote about on Tuesday. Well, I wrote it on Monday, but I didn't launch it until Tuesday. And it is about setting your VA up for success. And there's a reason why I'm bringing this up. I do have a team of VAs that help me out. I have video editors, and they work off of a SOP, so a standard operating procedure that we've put together. Now, I cannot claim that this was my idea because it absolutely wasn't. What the heck actually was like grinding on that. Wow, that did not make sense. He was Nope. Okay. Making sure that I was paying attention to everything. Wow. It's a Social Surge After Dark.
Which is not a bad idea. Not a bad idea.
Because we are hilarious.
No, yeah.
Yes, we are hilarious. So what the heck was just like,
sorry.
What the heck was telling me, he goes, you can't continue to do all of this work on your own. You are going to have to document the process. So since I did that, one, it's helped us with our VAs, right? Because you can't get mad at a VA for not and VA is virtual assistant, right? You can't get mad at a VA for not doing what you want if they don't know what you want, right? So went through that process. And since having done that process, we've been able to onboard a couple of video editors fairly easy. Now, sometimes they work out and sometimes they don't. But today's episode is all about doing that, hiring a VA, the process that we go through to do that, and then what we do if we don't actually like the person that we're working with. And there's certain circumstances as to why, but you have to remember that your virtual assistant is not a miracle worker, right? If your systems and processes suck, then your VA is not going to be able to fix that until you figure out what that is. So one of the reasons I brought this up is I heard from quite a few people at CREI Summit that they have a VA, but they don't really like working with them, or there's something that's not gelling. And I'm, as we all know, I'm very blunt and very outspoken and very
you
me never. I'm just passive aggressive. It's fine. Okay, so my whole point to them was like, okay, so how did you set them up for success? And I'll add, a lot of times I got like the kind of the blank expression, like, what do you mean? I'm like, okay, so did you set up an SOP, standard operating procedure, for them to follow so that they knew exactly what they were getting into? So what I found with my VAs is that if I don't spell out exactly what I want them to do, they're not going to do it, right? Like, if they don't know, they don't know. And if you don't know what you want them to do, you better figure it out quick. So, thinking that your virtual assistant is going to be able to read your mind, they could be a VA for 8 years, but they don't know your systems. They don't know exactly what you need. So what I suggest doing, and we actually went out to dinner with, and I'm going to shout out everybody if I can remember everybody. We were in Old Palm Springs. Mike Warner, Eddie Gonzalez, Topher Stevenson, James Milner, Bucky Beeman, Brent Pennington, and Holly Pennington, and then What the Heck and myself. We all went out to dinner. And by the way, Bucky Beeman does get carded.
What a gem of a human. Also,
He's
by the way,
amazing.
So great.
Yes. It was so funny because he he had been playing golf, and then he joined us at the restaurant. And so he sits down at the table, and I guess at one of the dinners the night before or whatever, he was with Holly and was laughing because he says that he gets carded. And immediately, I forget, I think he just ordered a beer or something. And he got carded, and I started laughing because I was talking about the story about me getting carded at Olive Garden and getting pissed off because I didn't have my license.
Yeah, and then didn't you like not get served your food too? Like, wasn't it the whole thing? It was a bad experience.
It was a bad experience.
So bad that I remember, and I wasn't there.
I think because I was texting you and Allison about it, I was so hot. I was so mad. Anyway, I was super mad.
You're still mad. Stay mad. Stay mad.
Stay mad. Ask me if I've gone back to Olive Garden because of that. Hell no. Anyway, so we were talking about, like, they were asking, like, how do you guys onboard? How do you guys bring on VAs? And I was just like, this is going to be a great topic of conversation because it seems like, one, not a lot of people are talking about it, right? And they could be. There could be other people talking about this, but I think in commercial real estate, we're not really bringing it up that much, right? So from what I'm seeing and from what I'm hearing is that most VAs fail because they lack clarity, and they lack clarity because you, as their employer, you don't have clarity. And so you're telling them to do something without any context. They have, they could be the best, whatever. Maybe it's a graphic designer. Maybe it's a video editor. Maybe it's a content creator. Maybe it's an admin assistant, right? If they don't have a list of things to follow, they're not going to know what to do. Every task then becomes guesswork for them. And that sucks because they can't read your mind, right? Yeah. So you're like, I want you to do this. And they'll say, okay. And then you don't give them the list of
Right.
the list to follow of what they need to do. Miss Beth Azor has joined us over on the Gram Fam. Good morning, Beth. It's so good to see you. Good morning. Then, of course, then there's the issue that you're not giving them feedback, right? You get upset because they didn't do the task. You end up going and doing the task because it didn't get completed the way you wanted. And then you don't tell them the reason why you're upset. So that doesn't benefit them at all. Then there's, thank goodness you can read my mind. There's over expectation. So you're expecting them to be all of these things, yet you didn't qualify that in the hiring process. So first, let's talk about the actual hiring process. So when What the Heck and I are bringing on a video editor, or we're bringing on somebody, there's different websites that you can use. Upwork. I was going to say WorkUp. Upwork is very popular, very, very popular. In fact, I still have a profile on Upwork from like 2012.
I'm gonna hire you for something.
Yeah, well, no, my stuff's on there for voiceover work. So that's actually how I started getting gigs doing voiceovers for companies all around the world. And anyway, so that's a long story, but yeah, there was Upwork. I'm sure there's other sites as well. We use yes, managing others is hard. Requires really good, simple, but direct communication. And that actually could go for any relationship, right?
Yeah, as you're sitting here telling me about managing expectations for, how to interact with someone, I'm like, this is very applicable to parenting my 5-year-old.
Direct communication. Do they have a list of things to follow so that they can meet your expectations? So wherever you plan on hiring, and there's other services. I know that there's specific services. I think Nick Huber has
somewhere.com is one.
Yep, he has a service, and I've heard great things about it. I'm trying to think of other ones that are like probably CRE specific, and I'm not sure that there are really any out there, which could be, an opportunity for somebody if they wanted to jump in on that. But the way that we go through this process, and granted, now I have What the Heck to help out with that, is that he'll go through like everybody's portfolio. Well, he'll write up the job description of what we're looking for. Very specific. He doesn't keep it, ambiguous. Very specific. This is what we're looking for. And then we get a bunch of people that will obviously put in for the position. They'll put in their portfolios. He goes through and he'll select 10. And then out of those 10, he has his list of his top 5. And then he sends me the list, and I go through and I skim through them, and then I select my top 5. And then we compare our top 5. Right.
Nice.
And so that's how we do the interview process, is that, whatever, whoever is his number 1, whatever. Right. So we match up the list, and then he goes through and he does the interviews. Then once he does the interviews, they talk to our team lead as well. So it's not just Hector. Then they have to talk to the team lead, because we need to make sure that they're going to work with the team lead.
Right.
If they're not working with the team lead well, or if like we had, and we had a gentleman that we brought on as a video editor, and he clearly did not like working with women. And I was like, this is not going to work.
It's not going to work at all.
Right. I was just like, because every time I would tell him to do something, he would go to What the Heck. And I'm like, no, this is.
Yeah, that's hard. That's really hard.
I like, What the Heck doesn't do any of the video stuff. He doesn't do any of the content creation. He doesn't do any of that stuff. He's doing operations. That's not his job. You need to come to me. And so it was like 2 weeks of this. And I was like, you know what? Because we'll bring people on for a trial period. We pay them for the trial period. And that's the other thing. Don't skimp out on your VAs. Come on, man. Like,
yeah.
Don't not pay them. That's ridiculous. Or like, oh, we're going to work on a trial period. No, just freaking pay them. Anyway, so because that is something that I've heard that happens quite a bit, which sucks. Hello, don't do that to people. It's rude. So, we had them work through the rest of the trial period and was like, hey, this is not going to work out, because if you can't take direction from me, who is the person that's doing all of this, then we just do not have a good we're working with kindergartners, right? Yes, absolutely. They still make men like that. Yes.
The comment section is spicy today.
It's a little spicy today.
I like
yes,
it.
they do actually still make men like that. Yes, sir. They sure do. So it's just kind of funny. But if we didn't have that system in place, if we didn't have that SOP in place, there's no way that I would have been able to tell what the heck. Hey, Jennifer Woolman, thanks for joining us over on the Graham Fam. I never would have been able to tell him, hey, this dude isn't like listening to me. Like, there is an SOP. We have everything put out, and he is not following it. And every time I bring that up, he goes to you. This is not going to work. Like, I can't have this, because they deal with me directly. Boo to that guy. Yes, Dwayne, boo to that guy. So, so we have that process set up to talk to our potential VAs that we're looking at bringing on our team. Then the next step, obviously, and actually this was probably the step before this, is that What the Heck made me sit down and he made me document all of my processes, everything from creating content to creating graphics to video editing. And there's a lot of different systems that you can use. You can use Loom. I use, it used to be called Screencast-O-Matic. I think it's called ScreenPal now. I know was one of those names.
Screencast-O-Matic. It's like the Jetsons. It's like the Screencast-O-Matic.
Yeah, I mean, we can use Descript now to record and do a voiceover, and then that's the next important step. Even if it takes you 40 minutes to narrate this entire process and record it, you're going to narrate step by step, right? Because you're walking, if this is going to be a training video, you're walking this person through step by step of how you want things done.
Right.
So then we took the transcript, and I say proverbial we, got the transcript, chucked it over to What the Heck, and I said, hey, here's the transcript, make an SOP, right? And so here's the one thing I say about working with your spouse. I know that What the Heck is very good at systems and processes. He was in upper management before he retired. So he's good at managing and creating those documents. Whereas me, I don't give two shits. Like, whatever. I just don't care. It's not something I'm interested in. But he knows exactly what he's doing. So it's great that I have somebody to work with that knows these things. We
need to do the next episode can be about how do I find a Hector?
How do I find a What the Heck?
How do I find a heck? You just let me.
So I mean, that's the thing. It was months. I'm telling you, it was months of him nagging me to finally sit down. And so like actually, I think it was over a week. I narrated all of these process. I just sat at my computer, and it was a slog, and I hated it. But the SOPs that we have now and the videos that we have now, if we bring on a new video editor, that's what they follow. Right. They have to go through that process first before they're allowed to play with any video content, before they're allowed to do any of that. You have to follow what I've been doing and how I've been doing it, because one, it gives them like a framework, right? And then two, if they can't follow directions based on what we've set, this isn't going to work. We're not going to work well together. I love this. Hopefully we'll get to meet Mr. Moneypenny.
Man, pour one out. I always say pour one out for the CRE wives, but I'm like, we need the hub club. CRE Hub Club.
That's a CRE Hub Club. Okay. Anyway, it's a t-shirt. So the other thing that is we stick all of those SOPs and those videos in a G Drive that's accessible to anybody on the team. And then the next thing that we implemented, and again, we were using Slack before, and then we moved to ClickUp. Now, if you're not familiar with ClickUp, ClickUp is a task management. It's like a project manager. You can use Trello, you can use Kanban. There's a whole bunch of different things that you can do. So now we use ClickUp to track tasks. Have a whole list of all the different the clients that we have. And the other thing that's cool with ClickUp is that you can actually connect a G Drive directly to a ClickUp folder. So one of my favorite things to do is when I get a video from a client from my phone, I can immediately upload it to ClickUp and then assign it to a video editor who is specifically working with that client, and it works out great. So the next step when you're hiring your VA is that then you also have to create an SOP for how to use ClickUp or how to use any kind of task manager, right? Like you can't just, you can ask, right? If they, man, I'm already coming up on 25 freaking minutes. What the hell?
I know. Not in a bad way. It's just like there, it's like that, as with anything in this space, like the idea is great. It's like, oh yeah, like get a VA to do all this stuff. Just like what it actually takes to implement and execute and be successful is a lot. So yeah, it's going to take 25 minutes to talk about more.
I haven't even gotten through most of it. So we have the SOPs and checklists. We make sure that they know how to use ClickUp. You can always ask that, like, are you familiar with Trello? Are you familiar with HubSpot? What is it that you're familiar with? And then the other thing that we use, because this gets asked a lot, is like, well, how do you handle the password issue? So we use LastPass. There's other programs you can use. We use LastPass, LastPass, and basically you pop in all of your passwords and stuff like that in there, and then they get access. They never see passwords. They never see any of that stuff, but they can actually access stuff through LastPass, which is a fabulous tool to use. The last but not least, you need to provide weekly check-ins. So I meet with a team most of my team is in the Philippines. We've had a lot of our team members for quite some time. So, and that's actually how we do a lot of our hiring now, is based on the people who they know. And they, of course, they have to show us all the other stuff. But when we originally started, we used different websites to find people. But since now having this team, and we've had one team member with us since 21. I think she's been with us for 4 years, nice. For 3.5 years. And
that in itself is, you want to invest in people like who are going to have that level of longevity.
Right.
It's like, that's just, that level of tenure in any position that's amazing.
She's wonderful. I love her. And then my actual VA who runs my inbox and does a lot of research for us. She's been with us. We actually hired her for a client that we were working with who needed a skip tracer. And I think that that project lasted like 5 or 6 months. And then I was like, well, he's done with that. We might as well just keep her on. And so we did. And so she's what I love. What I love about her is that any training. So that's the other thing that we do for our VAs. Any training that they want, like, tell us, we'll pay for it. Because as far as I'm concerned, you're interested in this training, it's just going to help business, right? So she's amazing. She's actually our ClickUp guru now, because she's done all the trainings, and we've sent her to trainings to learn all the ins and outs of ClickUp. She's done other stuff, just taken other training, and it's amazing when you offer Like, hey, if there's a class you want to take, let us know. We'll pay for it. They're part of your team and you want to build them up. So why wouldn't you? So some of the things that we do, just to kind of wrap this up, because I'm coming up on time, is one, you want to be able to have a clear definition of what the job description is and what you're looking for. Remember to put in your job description, what CRM you're using, what different types of programs you're using, if they're familiar with them, right? And then ask for a portfolio of their work. Then the next step is, and actually this should be the first step, you need to document everything that you do. Again, there's a lot of different resources for that. There's websites that will actually screenshot. Oh, what is the name of it? I think it's called Tanga. No, that's not right.
You know all these crazy websites.
I do. And you know why I know all these crazy websites? Because freaking What the Heck does all the research for that. And he's like, right? Like, I'm not looking for him, but he's the one that's telling me this is what you need to do. And I'm like, okay. when I finally listen to him, because let's be honest, I don't always listen to him. But so there's different websites that can actually document and do screenshots and then create an SOP. I find it easier just to screen record and narrate and then take the transcript and throw it into ChatGPT and have it create an SOP for us. And then, of course, because I have the video, then the video goes into the G Drive. And now we actually have a documented process that somebody can follow along and use. So then do that first, right? Get that all planned out first. Then you have your job description. Then you do your interviews. And it's not bad to have somebody else help you do the interviews, and not do the interviews, but look through the resumes, and you guys choose which one do you think, 1, 2, 3, 4, or 5, and you rank them as to who you think is the best, right? Not everybody's going to show up for an interview, as we all know. So, out of your 5, maybe 3 will show up. Okay. Well, number 3 was my number 1, right? So it just depends on how that looks. And then give them a trial period. Can they follow the SOP documentation? Can they follow everything that you've set forth? Are they having issues communicating? Show them how to use whatever task management system or project management system that you're using, whether it's Monday or Trello or ClickUp or Slack or Kanban, whatever it is. Make sure that that's part of the process that they understand how to use and that they can connect with you. And then, once that trial period's over, then work with them. But don't ever say that their VA is not working if you have not set them up for success.
Yeah.
Right. I think that is indicative of you not taking the time to really want to invest in your business, but realizing that you need to. So yes, these steps, it does take a little bit, but in the end, you're going to have people that are going to be staying with you for, 3-4 years versus running through a VA every 2 months.
Yeah.
So think about that. If you guys have any questions, you know that you can always DM me. I don't want to be pitch slapped though. Okay. Nobody wants that. And also I got to give a shout out to our Social Mastery VIP school group. We are in there talking about the whole marketing ecosystem. I'm actually probably going to do a video on hiring and have that set up as a course. So people can walk through and look at how we do our process when we when we hire our VAs. And I hope everybody has a great week. I would like to see you back here on Tuesday. And we'll see you then. Poor Fly. She didn't get to talk a lot today. Sorry, honey.
No, I needed to listen. I have some things I need to learn.
All right, everybody. We will see you back here next week. Goodbye.